Baba yetu yetu liye mbinguni yetu amina. Baba yetu liye jina lako litukuzwe.
Baba yetu liye mbinguni yetu amina. Baba yetu liye jina lako litukuzwe.
Utupe leo chakula chetu tunachohitaji, utusamehe makosa yetu, kama nasi tunavyowasamehe wale hutukosea, usitutie katika majaribu, lakini utuokoe na yule mwovu milele.
Baba yetu liye mbinguni yetu amina. Baba yetu liye jina lako litukuzwe. Baba yetu liye mbinguni yetu amina. Baba yetu liye jina lako litukuzwe.
Tusamehe kosa yetu,
tunachohitaji, utusamehe makosa yetu, kama nasi tunavyowasamehe waliotukosea, usitutie.
I think with the human rights in Tanzania, we have to improve the education to the kids. We have to work on their education and the families, and like those who work in the social welfare, we really have to teach the leaders and the community at large on how to take care of the kids, provide them with education, and teach how the families have to be born together, take care of the kids, because much of the families, the kids aren't getting the parents' love, so they end up in the streets. Some end up going to school without food. So if the families can be improved, the human rights for the kids in Tanzania can be good as well.
I think education, actually, educating people out in the village, educating children what their rights are, especially women's rights, really important, and people in town tend to know these things today, but education and getting it out to the people who don't have access to television or leaflets or other media. Really, all the children's centres are doing the work of social welfare here. So there is a government children's centre, but they don't actually put children in it. They rely on all the private institutions to do the work and to provide the finances. So sore point over here, because we don't get much backing from the social welfare system, but yet they expect us to do all the work and to finance it. So if children, a lot of especially the girls who are in our care, if they weren't in our centre by now, they're 14, 15, they would be in prostitution. That's the reality. So we try especially to keep the girls as long as we can, and to give them a skill that they can then use to sustain their lives, rather than turning to that method. For the children on the streets, the future is pretty bleak, actually. Kanuti was only living on the street for a few days, but if you've been on the street for any length of time, you become used to that way of life, and it's very difficult for you to adapt to a more regulated existence. And we've taken some children off the street. It's worked in some cases. In other cases, the children have ended up returning to the street because they don't like rules. They want to do what they want to do when they want to do it. So it's very difficult. And lots of children that we've known on the streets now since they were 6 or 7. They're now 17 or 18, and they have got no future. Stealing, maybe. Yeah, yesterday we had a little girl, Mariam, who came along with us, and Mariam has been with us about 8 years now. She was 3.5 when she first came to live at Seaway, and when she came, nobody actually thought she was going to survive. She had been severely abused by her stepmother. She's got lots of scars on her head where her stepmother beat her with iron bars. She had boiling water poured over her. She was bitten. She's got scars on her stomach where she was bitten by her stepmother because she's HIV positive. And there's such a stigma with having somebody HIV positive in your family that she was treated very badly. So she is doing really well, health-wise. Academically not so well, but she's alive and she's happy, and that to us is more important than academics anyway. So that's a very typical story over here, especially parents splitting and then remarrying, and the step-parents not wanting to be responsible for the stepchild, and a huge amount of child abuse within families here.
How does the government deal with that child abuse, or do they not deal with it?
They try to, but again, we've got one social welfare officer for an area, Arusha, 20 kilometres away, to another place 20 kilometres in that direction. He doesn't have a car, he doesn't have a computer, he's got a telephone. Well, what can he do? So there are systems in place, but there's just not enough resource to actually deal with the situation. We monitor her health very closely. She gets the right nutrition, she gets regular checkups. She's on ARV medication as well. So her chance of getting to a proper adult life is actually very good, because we are able to control her really, and make sure she gets what she needs. For other children, if you don't have the right nutrition, it's pretty bleak. Wendy and I came to Tanzania 11 years ago, not necessarily actually to work with children, but we got involved in an outreach working with street children. We met with a group once a week and fed them, shaved their heads, gave them teachings to help them look after themselves on the street. But we saw after a year that it didn't actually change anything. These children would come to our program today, tomorrow they go to somebody else's program, and nothing changed. And one boy in particular kept asking us if we could put him in school, and so we just decided that we would try and open a very small house. As Kanuti said, we started with 4 children and 2 staff. I got a bit of funding from the UK to run this for a year, and we just thought we'd see how it went. And we don't come from a childcare background, but we had some good ideas, we got some really good staff to help us, and we've just grown from there. So the motivation really was to make if you can make a difference in one person's life, and then they can make a difference in maybe 1 or 2 other people's life, you can end up having a big effect. So that was really the motivation. You can make a difference in one person's life, and then they can make a difference in maybe 1 or 2 other people's life. You can end up having a big effect. So that was really the motivation.